Hello, welcome back to Next Level Shift with me, Todd, that guy. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how and why I stopped drinking. Also, how these things that I'm about to tell you about will actually save someone's career if they find out now. Let's start off with this. So, a little bit about myself. Again, started off 10 years old, wanted to be a firefighter. I was like, oh man, these people got this big screen TV. I want to watch it too. And I kind of held on to that throughout my high school career, middle school career. I always wanted to be a firefighter. So I was like, cool, bet. I'm going to go work for a local department, Gwinnett. I live in Georgia. I lived in Gwinnett. So I joined the Gwinnett Explorers at 15 years old, went through the ranks with that. Graduated at 17. I had maybe 6 months I went to college for a brief period, maybe a semester, but at that time I applied for Gwinnett and DeKalb. I got both offers 18. So I did not drink in high school. I didn't drink hang out. I wasn't really a cool kid though. I was short, 5'8". I was like, man, I'm going to be a firefighter. I'm going to do my thing. Be the best firefighter you ever met. So I had chose DeKalb because they have Fight More Fire. Y'all know that. Started at 18, did my thing, love fighting fire, did some goofball stuff at 18. 21 comes around and I'm introduced to drinking. At that time, I was working 2 jobs. I was working a private EMS job, working 24 hours, and I was working DeKalb, working 24 hours as well. Went through medic school at 21. So I really didn't drink that much until maybe I drank maybe occasionally. That was once a month, maybe, to hang out with some folks here or there, go out to some clubs, maybe a bar, do the nightlife thing whenever I had time to, because I was working 48 24s at that time. I eventually bought my first loft in downtown Atlanta, in a little area called Cabbagetown. If you're not familiar, it used to be nice. Now it's gentrified and everybody got money and stuff. But back then it was cool. It was just locals. I had a nice bar on the back alley that I go to lunches and stuff like that. Go on dates at restaurants there. I could just walk to the restaurant. Be like, hey, I want you to go to this nice, cool place. They didn't know where I lived when I was going on dates. So I just walked down to the place, meet them there. Like I showed up. Oh yeah, parking was good. But that was really my introduction to drinking. I would just drink on my off days. At that point, I had left the fire department and went and worked at Grady as a paramedic. Better money, better hours, sign-on bonus. Why not? That's where I got my EMS side. I was there for 10 years. Had several bad calls that I've been on. I sought therapy, but I still continue to drink. Drinking was really a crutch. It was kind of a coping mechanism for me to just get away at that moment from the things I've seen, the things I've done, that most normal people don't really see these things. That's starting from 18. So everything I carried on from 18 to 25 wasn't really talked about till I was in that 25th cycle. And then at 25-ish, I was still going to the bars for football Sunday. Mondays, I could pretty much, whatever events I'm going to, I'm having a beer, I'm having a drink, I'm having a shot. I'm going to a concert, I'm drinking. That's where most of it comes from. But I just wanted to give y'all a little bit background of that so you can understand where I'm coming from and y'all can better understand that I get it. I started my PD career with the local sheriff's office. They use paramedics to respond to medical events at the local courthouse. So I ended up getting mandated with them and everything and going through stuff. Most of this stuff was just really jail. And that's something else to talk about, was the jail system and seeing inmates and things of that nature and how they live and things that they've gone through. That also messes a little bit with your mental. And you just think like, man, I'm going to just have a beer. I'll be all right. I can relax. I didn't really see most of the bad signs of, drinking. I just thought it was normal. You see it on TV, you see it on Rescue Me, you see it on pretty much everywhere. You can look on IG right now and scroll through your first 10, 15 reels. You're going to see drinking maybe 5, 8 times out of that, partying. Everybody's having a good time. You watch TV, you watch a sporting event, you watch football, you can watch basketball, golf. Everything has alcohol embedded in it because it's a normal thing in our society, unfortunately. For now, we're here today to talk about saving somebody's career. Maybe somebody that still continues to go have that beverage after a shift, whether it's fire, EMS, police. Man, I'm going to go get ready. I'm ready for that drink when I get to the house. I just need to relax. And when I had stopped drinking, it really changed my mindset and changed my world. It's kind of the turning point. We can go back to when I had initially applied for the documentary that's coming out in 2026, spring 2026, Going Dry movie that documents my 90 days of not really a struggle, but mostly just opening my eyes to being alcohol free in the jobs that I do. Let's talk about the culture. So there's been countless times where I've had after shift beers, after shift drinks, where either you had bad calls, you got promoted, it's a funeral, someone had a close call. It's like, hey, let's go talk about it over some drinks. Sounds good. Everybody's usually with it, whether you work night shift, whether you work day shift, you name it. Some bar, you're going to find a place that's open that has alcohol. That's how easy it is and accessible it is, which is kind of part of the problem. There's a culture in public safety where drink is considered normal until one day you realize it's not helping you handle the job. It's helping you avoid it. Before I started my journey, I was waking up foggy before a shift, just trying to get my wits about me, compared to when I was in my 20s where I can go out and party, get 4 hours of sleep and wake back up fine and ready to go. In my 30s now, it's not the case. It usually takes me about a week. So if I drink on Monday, I won't be back together until Thursday. And then guess what? Thursday night football. And then the cycle just repeats itself. Don't mess around and have another weekend, where I'm watching my team, fantasy football, stuff like that. Y'all know how it is. I realized that I wasn't really necessarily present for my wife and my son. I would have a beer or two at the bar, maybe for lunch. Let's say it's just a random weekday for lunch, or 2 beers and a shot. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Hang out there for about 2 hours, have some food, come back home. I don't want to do anything. It's not a productive day. That day is shot at that point. Unlike today where I go have my non-alcoholic beer and I have some food and I'm right back to the objective and whatever I got to do that day. I felt like sometimes alcohol was also controlling my sleep. I'd come home from a shift and I would be like, just take a shot. I'll go to sleep with that. And I've done that countless times. Benadryl, I didn't like it because I had that Benadryl hangover. I'll be drowsy for days, 2-3 days afterwards. It's crazy. Alcohol was just easy little, take my shot, go right to sleep. Little whiskey, never hurt nobody. Physically, I just felt sluggish, felt drained. I wasn't clear. There's no clarity going on when I was drinking. And when I say when I was drinking, I'm not talking about drinking a glass of wine, then have another glass of wine, then have another glass of wine. This is like just coming home, getting a beer and a shot. That's it. I'm going to have a beer and a shot, go to sleep. I did that often. And like I said, I would see that happen over and over again. I'd hear my colleagues talking about, I can't wait to get off work, give me a nice drink. Today's just been a day. And in my mind, I'm like, I might do that too. So I got news in August around my birthday that I was selected for the documentary that comes out in the spring. And I was like, could I even exist without drinking and going to bars and going to funerals? Unfortunately, that happens. Going to celebrations, birthdays, going to promotions. Would people accept me? People would be looking at me crazy, like, what's going on? I also fear breaking the culture. When I went to Dominica, it was their Independence Day. And I decided to stay at the resort instead of going to hang out with the locals to celebrate their independence, because I know that their culture, they drink a lot of rum. And I wasn't trying to be rude or disrespectful to their culture, so I decided to stay at the room because I knew beverages or some kind of beverage was going to be introduced into all that. That was something big. Will I lose my connection with my people? It was on my mind where I wouldn't be part of the clique. Recently had a promotional party, and the celebration and party was at a bar. And everybody was drinking, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just have my non-alcoholic, which is fine. It's really entertaining watching other people drink. And it was just like, is it even possible for my other friends to accept that I'm just alcohol free? And trust me, I've had my moments where just the other day I was at a local watering hole, and a friend of mine, she's going through some things. She's like, oh, I'm buying around for everybody at the table. And there it was, good old whiskey, shot of whiskey. I had my alcohol beer next to it. And I was like, I don't drink. She laughed. She said, oh, okay. She gave it away to somebody else, but she understands. She understood. That was cool. I realized that when I became a captain, leadership starts with clarity, and clarity can't live in chaos. It's something I came up with the other day. I feel like I've come to work, whether it's fire or police, clear-minded, ready to focus on the people that I work with, one, the people who are served, two, and of course, God, of course, above all that. But everything was just clicking. I'm hitting on all cylinders, and that was almost a year and a half ago. I was only hitting on 4 cylinders instead of 8. What changed immediately was I got better sleep. I had better emotional control, stronger presence on calls and at work. I had more energy. So I'm waking up after getting my 6, 7, 8 hours of good sleep and waking up refreshed and ready to go. No more shame, second guessing myself. Sometimes I take it a little overboard, and I'd be like, man, I drank a little too much the night before. And I'd be like, shoot, am I okay? Is everything all right? Should I have called out? And it's not because I feel like I still have alcohol in my system. It's just the fact I just don't feel 100%. And it takes 3-4 days for me at that point to get 100%. 80% sometimes ain't good. It's not good enough, even if you're not doing anything important. When I initially started my journey for the documentary, people were surprised, and they were kind of curious, but they were surprised. They thought I had went something. Every time I go to a bar or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, I can't drink. Sorry, I got doing this documentary. They're like, oh, okay. Well, I'm happy you realized you had a problem and you took care of it. You started going to AA and stuff like that. And I'd be like, nah, I decided to not drink because I just didn't want to drink. I don't usually say it that aggressive, but in my mind, I want to say it like that. People, why? Did something happen? Did you get a DUI? Did this happen? Did you beat your wife? Like, what happened? Every single time. And it still happens to this day. I go to the bar, people don't know me. I'll be like, hey, can I get a non-alcoholic? Like, oh, okay, cool, man. I'm happy for your choice that you made, that you don't want to drink. Chose not to drink for myself. And a lot of people aren't used to hearing that. So there's a big misunderstanding. I just felt like after the documentary had ended, said, hey, let's keep going. I like what we did in the documentary, from me going from basically zero to hero. Zero proof hero, by the way. Because I went from drinking like anything else. I think right before it started, actually, I came back from a conference in Las Vegas. And Vegas, I did my thing. But that just wasn't it. That being said, after all that, all these improvements for my 390 something days of being sober, I've learned that the clarity and the sleep, the energy, my skin's gotten better. I've lost weight. All these benefits happen and we don't even think about it. The consequences I've avoided since I've stopped drinking. I don't get written up. I don't have any suspension for being late. I smell like alcohol because I'm hungover. No DUIs, no IA, internal affairs. My family has been great. My wife, my son, my relationship with them has grown stronger since I stopped drinking. I'm not losing any credibility. I have a lot more self-respect for myself and a lot of people have respect for me. And I'm not becoming that guy that people talk about behind my back, which no one wants. You don't need to necessarily hit rock bottom to hit this turnaround. That's what I really want to throw out to you all. I made a choice early and it saved my career. I'm now studying to become a fire chief in the future, maybe even police chief. I don't know yet. I'm taking those classes as well. Again, this is all free time. I've got more money in my bank. I'm a lot more wiser. I have a lot better vision. Vision in regards to mental vision. I'm wearing my contacts today. That's why you don't see glasses, by the way. If you've ever been feeling off, if the job feels heavier, if the drink after a shift feels like the only way to be quiet about it, forget about it at the moment, you're not alone. You're not broken either, but the culture is. There is another way. If this hits home at all, episode 3 will help even more. There I'm going to talk about my first 30 days, how I felt, what I went through, and how that first 30 days without alcohol is exactly what I needed to change to be the better person that you see today. Again, I did just get my coaching diploma for this exact reason, to be able to coach people the same way I was coached during the documentary, to kind of guide me through the obstacles, especially the holidays. They're coming up next. These holidays, I love some eggnog and whiskey. That was my thing. Eggnog and rum, was my go-to. I love some eggnog. But I made it through the holidays. That was one of my biggest, hardest things, to go by somebody's house and be like, hey, you want this? You want this? I'd be like, nah, I'm good. And it made me stronger. That dry January stuff is fine because everybody else is doing dry January, but the holidays, if you think about it, you got football going on, got basketball going on, you got holiday spirit going on, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you choose to celebrate, you got your holidays. And most people end up having beverages during the holidays, if you think about it, holiday parties. But yeah, if you have any questions, throw stuff in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, drop a comment in the description. Appreciate you coming to hang out with me today. And we'll keep on rocking. Again, I'm usually on all my socials most of the time, throwing up some random stuff that I think is funny. But yeah, I'll be doing some events next year, some conferences that go in depth, throw a lot more facts. I'll be doing some more facts and things like that throughout these podcast / little, hey, you see me on YouTube episodes. The main thing is we can talk about these things and it's okay. It's normal. I wish I had somebody like me out there that would actually advise me on just the benefits and just to be aware about what alcohol does for you and what it doesn't do for you as well. So yeah, we'll start digging pretty soon into some of the carcinogen effects and a lot of the red flags that are usually masked over by media. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.
Wow.